Hey, it's Cleo. It's 1 in the morning. It felt festive. This is a story I wrote nearly 20 years ago, 2007, on LiveJournal. And I had recorded myself reading it aloud at the time. And I was curious to see what it would sound like. The character in the story, I had imagined her being in her mid 40s, and that's how old I am now. So I was curious to see what it would sound like. The other thing I want you to know is that this was inspired by the tarot card Strength, except that it's the card reversed. I'll see if I can throw one up on screen and think about maybe what that might have to do with what happens. So it's called Strength. Belladonna gives her word. That fall, a number of people in Chesterville were mauled to death by some kind of wild dog or coyote, the kind that apparently wasn't too afraid to go right up to people as they took their trash out at night, or let their own tame domestic dog out not too long after dawn. But it was a small town out in the sticks, verging on farm territory. Quiet. Not like a wild animal was marauding up and down Times Square or anything. Not like it was in plain view. So people just started being more careful, not venturing out alone until midday, or not venturing out at all without a loaded shotgun. And things were all right for a while. Then, in late October, the animal came back, and this time, someone survived. An old lady by the name of Edna Mayhew. Well, yes, she lost her arm from the elbow down, but she came out of it a damn sight better than any of those who come before her. And she said that it was a wolf. Definitely a wolf, but it had come at her on two legs, and when she had smacked it in the face with a veiny little fist, it had held her down with two arms and bitten her forearm clean off. The only thing that saved her, she declared, was her neighbor Bill Thursday Thurston, who'd heard her screaming and come out with both barrels blazing. He claimed the thing that he saw ran away on four legs, but that it was, in fact, goddamn huge. This was about the time that new photo of Bigfoot lumbering around on all fours came out, which several professors and scientists swore up and down was just a bear with mange. Eddie at the Red Brick printed out the picture and taped it up by the bar, and the next time Thursday came in for a beer, he said, "Yeah, the thing he changed off Miss Mayhew kind of looked like that. Maybe it was a wolf with mange." Mange was a terrible thing, after all. He'd managed to hit it with at least one shot, though, so he didn't think it'd trouble people too much after that. So, going into November, that was where things stood. Whatever it was, it had mange, and it had probably gone off and died quiet somewhere. Belladonna wasn't terribly worried about it when she went outside one morning to get more wood for her kiln. She threw artisan pottery out on a little farm a few miles to the west of Chesterville anyway. Every week or so, she'd go into town for groceries, mail out her online orders, maybe stop at the Brick for a burger and a drink, and hear what was to be heard. She had little to tell about herself, but folks liked to tell their stories, and she knew Miss Mayhew from the post office. She learned that people were keeping their guns out, their doors locked, and their pets inside. She heard the recitation of tales. But whatever the thing that Bill Thurston shot had been, it and its mange were not likely to bother Belle. Or so she thought, until the morning when she was piling kindling into the crook of her arm, looked up, and saw it standing at the edge of the yard. It didn't have a human face, but it was standing on two long, lanky legs that curved back into hocks like a dog's. One arm was held close to its belly, probably protecting wherever Thursday shot it, thought Belle, her brains feeling thick and logy. That was the best reaction she could dredge up. Yeah, 6-foot man-shaped wolf thing hunched over in my yard, probably not feeling too good right now. It didn't have a human face, but it did have a very human expression. Desperate, she thought, and cranky, maybe resentful even, and hungry. Belle put down her armful of kindling and picked the axe back up. The thing staggered forward a step or two. It was still a good 20 feet away. "Go on now," she said. "Get. Ain't nothing here you want." The thing gazed at her, its eyes watching the axe. It almost seemed to calculate. She'd seen it, after all, and it was hungry. A human murderer wouldn't have let her live, and this wasn't even human. Belle hardened her voice and wrote over a quaver like it was a speed bump. "Go on now. I won't tell nobody if you just go." It was on the tip of her tongue to offer it some food. She had a pot roast from the other night, and she was still knee-deep in leftovers. And then she thought, "You dumbass, you feed it once and you'll never get rid of it." "Go on now," she said, her hands tight on the axe handle. "Just get. You got my word. I won't tell nobody." It was still standing there, reckoning. And then it stepped back, making a tactical withdrawal into the brush at the back of the yard. She saw it drop back down on 4 legs and lope away awkwardly towards the thicket out behind the farm, a scrubby bit of forest that led into some of the foothills. Probably some good caves in there, she thought. The wolf thing wasn't the only one out there who could calculate. And when the attacks started in Chesterville again, and then moved a bit northeast of Belle's farm, and then back down to Chesterville, then southeast of her farm, and then back to town again, she knew it was being careful. It knows better than to shit where it eats, she thought to herself. Or eat where it slept, more precisely. But the saying held the same. There were some people at the sheriff's office who probably would have given a lot to know about a thicket in the foothills west of Chesterville, particularly since Edna Mayhew was still the only survivor. But Belle Donner had given her word. She valued her word almost as much as she valued her life, and they were pretty much the same thing in this case, she decided. After all, it's one thing to know where something lives. It's another when something knows where you live, and a deal was a deal where Belle Donner came from. So you can find me, patreon.com/Cleolinda, cleolinda.tumblr.com. I'm Cleolinda on Blue Sky, and I'll be recording some other things, and I'll see you soon.